It's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. Fantabulous night to make romance neath the cover of October skies. You know the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes that blow. You know I'm trying to please to the calling of your heartstrings that play soft and low. You know the night's magic seem to whisper and hush. You know the soft moonlight seems to shine in your place. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, oh, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, oh, my love? Well, I wanna make love to you tonight. I can't wait till the morning has come. Yet I know now the time is just right, and straight into my arms you'll run. When you come, my heart will be waiting to make sure that you never run. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will make you my own. And every time you just tremble inside. Then I know how much you want me that you can't hide. Can I just have one more dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you?
Hello, everybody. If you're sitting at the head table, if you'd make your way up to the head table, and if you would grab your lunch and find a table, we're going to start in about 2 minutes. We're going to start in about 2 minutes, so if you're at the head table, please make your way up.
Good people. 2 minutes. Get ready for Big Bill Sokol and his show of shows. 2 minutes. Please find your seats.
Thank you. It's fine.
I'm going to make this a little harder for you by opening this now.
time. Welcome to Oakland Rotary number 3, the third oldest Rotary Club in the world. I'm Joe Goralka, president, and I'm a retired CPA CFO from East Bay Restaurant Supply. You can call me Coach Joe. Around the world, there are more than 45,000 Rotary clubs with 1.2 million Rotarians in over 200 countries. You guys are still settling down. Most cities you can name have a Rotary Club. We have both local and global impact. We gather as Rotarians to make a difference around the world, in Oakland, to support each other and to support each other's business, and to have some fellowship and fun. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Both for those in person and online. I think we have a few people online. I see Randy and Greg. I see Linda. I see Tom out there. Welcome. I'd like to introduce if we have any visiting Rotarians in the audience. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? We have one visiting Rotarian over on the left, soon to be a member, I hope. Over here, go ahead and stand.
No, we got, Daniel got excited because he wants to say, oh, hello, I remember her. Hold on, hello. Janine, I remember you.
Second week here. Hello, folks. Janine Menger from Oakland. I moved here from Olympia, Washington. Nice to be here. Nice to see you all. Let's play golf, all right?
Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Into the golf. All right, now we do guests.
Yeah, now do we have guests of Rotarians? And
Daniel, this is your time.
And if you would mention your name, your business and business title, and then introduce your guest, I'd appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Daniel Chang, retired printer. I would like to introduce my mother-in-law from Southern California. And she just saw our logo, and she looked up what Rotary meant. And she said her father was a member of Rotary Club in China.
Oh, wow. Welcome.
You just found out your son's a beautiful Rotarian, of course.
Dudley?
President Joe, Coach Joe, I'm Dudley Thompson.
Past President Dudley Thompson.
Thank you. Professional Fleet Graphics. I'd like to introduce Ralph's guest, Theo Zarabel. Theo is right now teaching rowing down at the Aquatic Center, everything from single to 8. But he's also in the market for a job too. He's just recently graduated from college and would like to get into public policy work. So particularly environment or AI. So anyway, welcome Theo.
Welcome Theo. Do we have any other guests?
I would say no to that.
Okay. Please then let's welcome Angela Darby. Angela is an agency principal with Allstate Insurance. And Angela is going to give us our thought for the day.
Hello. Thought for today, service above self. Eleanor Roosevelt. When you cease to make a contribution, you begin to lose your purpose. Eleanor Roosevelt reminds us that the heart of a meaningful life is contribution. Each time we serve others through kindness, encouragement, or action, we renew our sense of purpose and strengthen our communities.
Thank you very much. And as we kick off our Rotary Foundation campaign, I think that was a very perfect thought for the day. And I think what they were trying to say is those that give actually benefit more than the recipient of your contribution. So today's lunch, I don't know if you noticed, was Indian food, and that was done with a purpose. That's because this coming Monday is Diwali. Diwali is a festival of lights that celebrates the triumph of light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance, the blessings of victory, freedom, and enlightenment. The main celebration takes place on the day of the new moon. when the sky is the darkest. Celebrants light dozens of candles and clay lamps, placing them throughout their homes and all around the streets to light up the night. Followers of the Hindu, Sikh, and Jaini faiths all celebrate Diwali. As India is a large country with many cultures and religions, each has its own way of celebrating with slightly different stories. However, all have the same theme of good over evil. All celebrate the Festival of Lights with the lighting of candles. May we as Rotarians celebrate the aspirations of knowledge over ignorance, good over evil, light over darkness, and incorporate these principles in our work, in our club fellowship, and our service efforts. Happy Diwali to everybody a bit early on Monday. Now I'd like to welcome up Linda Hamilton, author and publisher, college application coach, owner of Stories to Last. Linda has been working with her team on some exciting new ways to improve our new member experience. Linda, you want to share?
All right. Woo! Thanks, Coach Joe. How is everybody today? Woo! All right. It's another fabulous Thursday here at the ballroom. Do you know we have been meeting here since the 1920s in this very room. And those windows right there, those mirrors, that used to be the entrance to the hotel, and this was the grand ballroom. Just a little trivia here. But today I'm here to talk to you about new membership. I am your chair of the new membership engagement and orientation, along with my partner in crime, Kathleen Uribe. And first of all, can I have all the red badgers in the house and soon to be red badgers stand up, please? New Rotarians, would you please stand up to be recognized? Please give them a huge round of applause. We're so happy to have you join our club, and if the rest of our blue badgers, if you haven't met some of these people, please introduce yourself at some point. I remember when I joined the club in 2007. One of the things that kept me going was the warm and welcoming nature of this club, and so we want to pass that on to our new Rotarians. And to help you guys navigate and find your way and enjoy the club, the most out of this club, we have come up with this Rotary roadmap. And here we go. So we have it in both vertical and horizontal. This started as a brainchild of Jesse Schmidt. Shout out to Jesse, wherever you are, our fitness guru. All right, and following this roadmap will get you not only to your blue badge, but quickly becoming an Oakland Rotary veteran, but it also helps you get involved in the club and meet people and take advantage of all the opportunities and fellowship our club has to offer, especially as a large club and one of the best Rotary clubs in the world, in my humble opinion. So as you can see, the parts of the roadmap, and it's kind of in any particular order after you set up your dues, hint, hint, monthly's the best, you can attend an orientation. Orientation's a great opportunity to meet a few Rotarians, a few wonderful Rotarians, learn about the history of our club, what I call Rotary 101, which is kind of like what the world of Rotary is, and learn about our committees, how to use Ignite, and DAC-DB. And, hey, how many of you have Ignite on your phones and use it? Just raise your hands. Oh, Joe, Coach Joe, see, this is an issue. So we'll do that another meeting. We gotta get retrained on Ignite. Ignite is an app we have on our phones where you can easily contact any of your new 275 friends here in the club. You can also take pictures and download them, so we have them for our history books, and it serves many purposes to help you reach out. So we'll talk about that another time. So you can attend the Thursday meetings. So if you're here, you're already doing a great job, even on Zoom. Thank you for being here. The best way to meet people is in person. We're still getting used to it, even this long after COVID, I think. And then also becoming active in at least one committee. And in order to get to know the committees, we have all the committees listed on our website, which we are currently and continually updating. But I also have resources on a Google Drive, and there's a link to it right here. You'll see on your tables, there are several handouts, and one of them with a big QR code on it will take you to, and it's for all Rotarians too, not just new Rotarians, but there's a whole bunch of resources in there that you can use to learn about our club. Hi, Jake. And they include things like how to do your 3-minute video, and also there's a whole turn back the wheel video, a history of our 4-way test. The entire PDF version of our centennial book, the first 100 years of history of our club, is available to you there. There's sign-ups for orientation and the roadmap itself and a lot of other docs. So you'll want to check that out. You want to attend a club event? We've got a great one next week. You don't want to miss our Halloween party at the Chapel of Chimes. It's usually in 2 weeks? Sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Yeah. Now to give your 3-minute intro, how many people still need to give one? All right. Excellent. I want to help you. So if you are a Rotarian and you've been a red badge since in Shannon's year, we want to have you come on up and do it live. If you're still a red badge beyond that, you can do it as a video. And either way, I would love to help you. And also, there are instructions here to make it really, really easy in those resources. And then, of course, we want you to participate in service, and we always have opportunities for that. And as Ruth will tell you, there's lots of ways to donate, both to the Rotary Foundation, which he's going to talk about today, as well as our endowment. We're also working on a buddy system so that we can check in with you and see how you're doing. In that regard, if we call you more than once and we ask, what's your birthday, who's your spouse, and somebody has already asked you 3 times, please be patient with us. We're still we're working on our database and our systems and just getting those procedures all worked out. And I think that's it. If you know anybody who would love our club, you think would enjoy it, bring them in, and then Kathleen and I and the others that are helping on our committee will make them feel welcome and help them find their place in Rotary. Thank you so much.
Linda, don't run off so fast. I'd like you to stay for just a minute. Linda is doing a fabulous job with our new member experience committee, and our goal is to get members engaged so that they can benefit from the opportunities that Rotary provides both here locally and around the world. So Linda, in recognition of your service above self efforts to lead our new member experience committee, including the Rotary roadmap and the new buddy system, for your professional guidance in trying to improve our meeting experience, definitely a work in progress, for your numerous musical performances at Rotary events and meetings, and for your countless turn back the clock type presentations, including at my inauguration meeting, I present you a Rotary on the Run medal. Congratulations, Linda.
Go Joe.
And now I'd like to bring up Ruth Strupp, a professional chef and founder of Chez Nous, a catering company. Ruth and her team are about to kick off our Rotary Foundation campaign for this year. Ruth?
Thank you, President Joe and fellow Rotarians. Our club has a very long and generous history of supporting the Rotary Foundation, which is the global portion of the work that Rotary does. To date, we have donated over $2.7 million. Our club, which has about 260 members, has half of the club, 131 members, have given $1,000 or more and have the Paul Harris Foundation designation. On top of that, 35 of our members have given over $10,000 and hold the designation of major donor. It's a huge, huge, thank you so much for your generosity. It's been enormous. About 100 of our members are in the yet to give category. They just haven't heard about it. They might not know it. They might not be new to the club. So my ask for you today is to continue as you meet and network with fellow Rotarians to share a little bit about why you give to the foundation or for the global Rotary work. Personally, it took me about 5 years before I even clicked in that this was important. And then once I understood the quality of the work, I was all in. And today I'm a major donor. I would like to appreciate 3 of our members for their generous contributions. Rotary loves our pens, if you haven't seen them, and some pens that we have are just plain. Some have rubies, and some have sapphires. And the sapphire, and for people who have, and each time there's a $1,000 contribution, people get a new pin. So today I would like to appreciate and offer a pin. Come on up. Keith Herone, Pat Williams, and Sean Callum. We'll do a picture. Keith.
Dudley, would you mind taking a picture for us?
Sean. Thank you. And Pat.
Huh?
Oh. Cumulatively, these folks have donated over $15,000 to the Rotary Foundation. Please, go ahead. Or a pumpkin. Do we want to do it down there? Thank you, everyone, for your generous support. And as a pastor friend of mine says, don't give until it hurts, give until it feels good. We look forward to seeing what our club will accomplish this year. President Joe's goal is to beat Seth Butner. We did about $150,000 that year. I think we can do it again. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think you know I believe in the Rotary Foundation, as I believe in the Oakland Rotary Endowment. But I've seen the good works that the Rotary Foundation can do. I've seen springs that after 25 years, protected springs in Uganda, Africa, that are still providing clean water. I've given polio drops in India. We are making a difference in eradicating polio from the world. I've delivered wheelchairs in Mexico. It'll just tear your heart out, the children that need these chairs. So we are doing marvelous, excellent work. This year I also took a little bit of our DDF money to do a project right here in Oakland. I wanted us to be involved in the community, and so we are going to restore Play Island at Fairyland as part of the Rotary Foundation. So thank you all for your contributions, and I hope you consider making more contributions. Now I'd like to call up Joe Parrott, retired Oakland Zoo Executive Director, Africa Safari Tour Guide, although this will be the last year, and a grandparent.
Okay, I'm here for all you landscapers and environmentalists. We've got coming up another tree planting day. We only do it twice a year, and so on November 1st, we'll be partnering with Oakland Park and Rec Foundation to do some planting. It's not only to help Oakland get greener, which it is, it's also to do an incremental thing for the global warming issues because trees provide cover and avoid heat islands. It also absorbs CO2. It releases oxygen. All these good things that and this will be our 5th time of being out and planting trees. There's also some social equity in it that you should be aware of. That is, if you live up in the Oakland Hills, you got a lot of trees. If you're in West Oakland, you get the off-ramps, right? And so this is where we're going to be doing the planting. So think about November 1st, and if you're planning to go, they do ask that we sign up on Eventbrite, and so there's a link. So you can either email Catherine Coleman or me. We're in the directory. Email us with your intent to go. We'll bounce right back to you the link. Okay, and I just found out today we already have 5 interactors who are going to participate. So it's a chance for us in Oakland number 3, to partner with other people, other agencies, and with the Interact kids to help develop them into future Rotarians, but more important, socially responsible to those who give back to the community. So there's a lot in tree planting other than just the trees themselves. I hope you can participate. November 1st, it's only from 10 to 12. All you need to do is bring gloves and the shovels and things like that, and the nursery stock will be provided. Okay? See you then.
Thank you, Joel. With 5 interactors being there, this will be an opportunity for us to let them dig the holes, and we'll fill the holes with water. The exciting thing about this project, and I hope I have this right, the city got about $3 million to do landscaping, so we don't have to pay for the trees this time. So that's excellent. I hope that's correct. Yeah. Where am I on my road map here? Oh! Calling up Ed Braille, funeral home manager with Chapel of the Chimes, Oakland. You know, I was going to make kind of a bad joke. I was going to say, I hope you don't have to do business with Ed. But after having thought about it, if you do happen to have that need.
People are dying to do business with you.
I was going to say, I can't think of a better person to have to share that experience with. Ed is here to tell us a little bit about our Halloween bash.
Absolutely. So Linda scared me there for a minute. She thought it was next week. It's actually the 30th, indeed. October 30th, 5 to 8 p.m. is the 3rd annual Chapel of the Chimes Halloween party. So how many Raiders fans in the room? How about Oakland A's fans? I guess I can't say Oakland A's fans anymore. So we are having 2 special guests. I guarantee you they'll be there. Ricky Henderson from the Oakland A's and Al Davis from the Raiders. They will be there. Absolutely. So it's a costume party.
Could you repeat that?
Absolutely. Al Davis, Ricky Anderson, the Major League Baseball, our base stealer for Major League Baseball, and Al Davis, the former owner of the Oakland Raiders. Actually, they're always there, but they'll be there. So costume party, we're having 3 prizes for the 3 best costumes. Open bar with some ghoulish drinks and some free food for y'all. Thanks, we'll see you there.
Don't miss it, it's always a fabulous evening. So, you might be wondering why this pumpkin is sitting up here. Well, at our next club meeting, if you guess the weight of this pumpkin, you can win. What are you going to win? Bragging rights? A 4-way test coin? And you get to take the pumpkin home with you. 1 guess per member. You can examine it now, lift it up, decide how much it weighs. You can lift it. Uh-oh. Oh, you can lift it. Anyhow, so here's everything you wanted to know about pumpkins. Pumpkins are a fruit, not a vegetable. Not all pumpkins are orange. There are more than 100 varietals of pumpkins. China is the largest producer of pumpkins in the world. Illinois is the largest producer of pumpkins in the United States. Unusually large pumpkins are entered in a competition. The largest pumpkin ever weighed was 1,226 kilograms, or about 2,703 pounds, so probably a little bigger than ours. Pumpkins are highly nutritious. Almost all parts of the pumpkin are edible. A single pumpkin can have over 500 seeds. Pumpkin seeds are a delicacy around the world. Even pumpkin flowers are edible. The largest pumpkin pie had a diameter of 20 feet. Pumpkins can be a great treat for your dog, believe it or not. Pumpkins can float in water, and National Pumpkin Day is on October 26th. And oh, by the way, I love pumpkin pie. So now I'd like to bring up Alita Scola, owner of a picture framing and restoration business called Galleria Scola. Alita's going to let us know probably where some of our members have already headed off to. There's a district event tonight, and maybe you guys might want to join as well.
I love the Sergeant of Arms. He has a special pin on, too. It's very cool. I'm here because Shannon is driving back from Sacramento, and she asked me to remind you that meatballs and spaghetti tonight. Who's going to be there at the Colombo Club? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We hoped there would be 200 people, but really there's kind of like 100 people. So if any of you are hungry, tonight at 5:30, there's this event. There's also DMV parking across the street. This is a district event, which usually happens in San Jose, and so most of us don't generally drive down there, but this is Avenues of Service. There will be tables set up from various clubs explaining the service that they do. We will have one too. So there'll be lots of drinks and lots of wine and meatballs and spaghetti. I hope they're as good as my mother's meatballs and spaghetti. Look for you tonight. It starts at 5:30. Thank you.
First cocktail's on me. I hope you guys join us. We'll be celebrating with Rotarians district-wide. I have a couple of items on the calendar I just want to mention so that you are aware of the dates. We're going to have a test meeting at the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts, I think it's called now, right on the edge of Lake Merritt there, on November 6th. We're considering that maybe as a new meeting location, so you might want to come and check it out. We have a new members reception on November 12th, so all you new members, make sure that you get that on your calendar. It'll be at Mary Rutzer's home, and it will be a fabulous event. We have our Halloween bash on October 30th, the tree planting that Joel mentioned on November 1st. Our holiday party is going to be on December 6th. Hey, Alex, could I ask you to kind of wander up this way while I'm talking? Would you mind doing that? I would. Come on up. Come on up, Alex. I don't like these surprises. I'm sorry. There's another exciting event. Rotary was involved in chartering the United Nations, and they're celebrating the 80th anniversary of chartering, and there's a Rotary Summit in San Francisco on December 11th. Our current president, Francisco Arrizzo from Italy, will be there, so get that date on your calendar if you can make it. St. Vincent de Paul, our service day will be on December 16th, and we're also looking to go to the Oakland Ballet Nutcracker on December 20th as a group. Alex, I appreciate you wandering up this way. Come on up on the stage, if you would.
Now, it's always a problem when the coach doesn't tell you ahead of time and he calls you to his office. What am I going to be coached on today?
You're going to be thanked today. So our directory is out. I have to tell you, Alex sent out a link for this directory so you can download it as a PDF on your computer. I already did, so I don't need this book. He sent that out on July 31st. But the printed version's out if you need it. You can use Ignite as well. It has just about all the same information
Oh, and Ignite has all the new members since
Oh,
July 1st.
Thank you, Alex, thank you. But if you want a printed version, there's some in the back, just see Jesse. Alex, in recognition of your service above self efforts to help us with our website refresh, getting the club directory printed and organized, which I'm telling you is a considerable amount of work, for your experience and guidance and thoughtful advice, which I wish I took more often, and Alex knows why, and for your involvement in a new peace committee, I present you a Rotary on the Run medal. Thank you, Alex, for all you do. And now I'd like to bring up Ann Brick. Ann Brick, where are you? What year? Oh, that's right, a retired staff attorney of the ACLU of Northern California. Ann, would you please introduce our speaker for today?
Hello, everybody. Howdy. It is my great pleasure to introduce my law school classmate and your speaker today, Bill Sokol. We all are very lucky to have Bill talking to us today. He has had quite a career, still having it. He is a union-side labor lawyer and has been for nigh on 50 years. He is with the law firm of Weinberg, Rogers, and Rosenfeld. But that ain't all. In addition to practicing law, he teaches law. He teaches at San Francisco State University. He's also taught law at Cal and at USF. But again, go Bears.
Go Broncos.
He's also a noted legal commentator, both on NPR and for many, many years he ran he was a talk show host on Pacifica Radio. So we're lucky to have him, but those are not his very best accomplishments. His very best accomplishment is he is married to Cynthia Gorney, an amazing journalist and a world-class girls soccer coach and mentor to my little girl Rachel when she was in elementary and middle school. And that's his best accomplishment of all. Please welcome Bill Sokol.
Well, Ann got the important thing. I'm married to Cynthia. The rest is incidental. Let me do this. I'm going to say right from the outset, I'm so sorry to be here with you. I hope I don't cause any indigestion by talking about the current U.S. Supreme Court. You can tell from the title that I have a point of view on this. I'm going to talk about what I think is the battle of our times. I think life is a constant struggle, and the battle for us is to preserve the American democracy. I think it's that serious and that difficult. And what I want to suggest to you, I usually teach this at the Osher Institute in Berkeley. I do the Supreme Court 4 two-hour lectures. When I do it at SF State, it's 16 weeks. I've been given 15 minutes. I hope I can tell you anything worthwhile at all. It's a real challenge and opportunity for me to try to do this. But you can see that the key thing that I want to talk about at the outset is I believe that the Supreme Court is not simply standing by. I think the Supreme Court has led the way to basically undermine our democracy, and I'll try to suggest that to you as quickly and easily as I can. They did 4 cases that I'm going to talk about that I think set the stage for the mess that we're in today. We're going to talk about Citizens United, gerrymandering, Shelby v. Holder, and then, of course, Trump versus USA. That's the past. I also want to talk a little bit about the present, and then I'll talk a little bit about what comes next, okay? Now, I want to say at the outset, let's do this. Next slide. I guess I have to keep Peter going. Let's do First of all, a slide that says it's all a matter of perspective, okay? I want to tell you at the outset, you know I have a perspective by the title I've given this talk. It's kind of like the old story about the Titanic, you know, the sinking of the Titanic. There's 2 points of view about the Titanic. One is, what a tragedy, the ship is going down and thousands of people may lose their lives. On the other hand, if you're a bright red lobster in the tank down in the kitchen, it's Liberation Day. You're going to be set free into the cold, salty waters of the North Atlantic, free again. So for my friends here today whose politics are a bright red complexion, bear with me. We can talk about it, you know, as soon as I'm done. Now, let me turn to the past and the attack on democracy. The next slide after this is one called Campaign Spending, the Citizens United decision. Everybody knows a little bit about Citizens United. Let me summarize it in this way. There was a very small issue for the court to decide. Shall a little half-hour documentary about Hillary Clinton be allowed to be shown on one cable channel, 30 minutes long, cable channel that will reach a few thousand people, or was that prohibited by campaign spending laws that we had had for a century?
Hello?
Since the early 1900s, we had campaign spending laws to limit the spending of corporations and the very wealthy. The court didn't take that issue. The court said, we want to redefine this case. We want to decide whether campaign spending laws and limitations are legal at all. They set that stage. They decided to say, we are going to declare limitations on corporate spending and individual spending in federal elections unconstitutional. Why? Because they said for the first time, spending money equals speech. They said for the first time in black and white, corporations are persons, and therefore they have the right to free speech to spend all the money they want. And what we end up with is the next slide. Can you show that one for me, Peter? The graph. Peter, there you go. Now, this doesn't take a lot of explaining. That's the amount that billionaires spend. Billionaires. We only have about, estimate is 650 to 700 billionaires. 650 to 700 people. They're spending, you can see the little line, the arrow that says they're Citizens United. They spend almost nothing in the elections. Once Citizens United happens, they're starting to buy politicians. We end up with someone who's a ketamine junkie and likes to run around with chainsaws on stages, paying some $288 million, so far as we know, buys a whole lot of votes, and what do we end up with? Now, that's that case. Let's go on to voting rights. What did they do in Shelby v. Holder? 3 years later, what they said was, we've had this pre-clearance in the Voting Rights Act, which is this is the crowning achievement of the civil rights movement that, you know, we grew up in the 50s and the 60s. The Voting Rights Act of 1965. They look at it, and the most important part in Section 5 said, the Confederate States of America and a few plain states had so restricted people's voting that before they can do any kind of new laws to in any way limit people's voting, they had to get it pre-cleared by the Department of Justice. So that the Department just said, wait a minute, you're trying to limit people's voting, can't do it. The court said, well, everything is fine now. Everything's okay in 2013. There's lots of black people who have been elected in the southern states. There are lots of people voting of various diverse, primarily blacks in the South, and therefore we don't need this anymore. We don't need pre-clearance. Now, Ruth Bader Ginsburg in her dissent said it best. She said, throwing out pre-clearance when it's worked and is continuing to work to stop discriminatory changes is like throwing away your umbrella in a rainstorm because you're not getting wet. But that was the next thing they did. What is the practical result of that? The next slide, Peter. Very practical, very concrete. Since that decision, at least 120 voter restriction laws have been enacted to limit who can vote. So first we say spend all the money you want, rich people, and then we say you can limit people's votes every which way you can. We end up with laws in the state of Mississippi that say you can't give somebody a water bottle when they're waiting in line to vote for hours because you might influence their vote. Perfectly okay. I could go on and on about those 120 laws, but let's keep going. This is that whole, can I do it in 15 minutes, holy moly. So we go next. Gerrymandering, the third big way they attack democracy before we ever see anything happening in Washington politics. In 2019, what happens? They say, it's okay to gerrymander. You know that every 10 years when the census comes along, state legislatures, some commissions in some states, but mostly legislatures, decide to redraw congressional districts in their state. And the idea was, by a Baker v. Carr, one person, one vote. So you try to divide it so everybody has their vote really counts. You draw districts so anybody, either side, could win. Everyone has an opportunity. No. What this court said was, they're looking at gerrymandering where it's very clear the districts have been drawn to basically, they call it either pack or crack. Pack the minority voters into one place, so all the rest of the districts are for the majority in that state. It could be Democratic or Republican. So that's packing. Or you crack. You take the minority group and you split it as many ways as you can so its votes just don't matter. What do we end up with as a result of gerrymandering? Those red things, those are actual congressional districts in a half a dozen different states today. Do they make any sense? Absolutely. If what you're trying to do is make sure as many of the majority party as possible are in one place so that they can basically have safe seats, the incumbents can never be touched. And the court said, no problem. You can gerrymander by politics, perfectly legal. Now, what's the results of that one? Each time I say, here's the case, here's the results. Could we go to the next one, Peter? What are the results? This is how we can explain very easily why Congress is completely deadlocked. Because what's ended up happening is almost, you can see 184 for 1/3 of the seats in the House and half the seats in the Senate are basically bulletproofed, gerrymandered, so that the incumbent can't lose. So what happens in Congress is an incumbent doesn't have to negotiate and make deals because they know they're safe, they can take absolutist positions, and we can't get anything done there. I mean, it could get so crazy they could shut down the whole government someday. Yeah, actually, this is why. This is the Supreme Court leading the way to the miseries we have, in my opinion, with respect to democracy. Next, we have Trump as king. Folks know about Trump versus USA, a perfectly named case, where he is indicted. Jack Smith is the prosecutor, conspiring to obstruct official proceedings, conspiring to defraud the U.S. Why? Because on January 6th, he basically inspired, pushed, and got people to try to interfere with Biden being basically elected as president. The vice president's supposed to show up, turn over, here's what the electoral college votes are, and Biden becomes president. He actually tried to stop that. He is criminally indicted. What did the court do about that? What the court chose to do in the face of that. Let's go to the next one. Peter, if you're with me. Can we jump to Trump versus USA holdings? The court basically said that he is totally immune from any prosecution whatsoever as long as he's engaged in his core constitutional powers. Now, one of his core powers, because it's spelled out in the Constitution, is he is the commander-in-chief of the military. And therefore, whatever he does with the military, he cannot be prosecuted for. Is it accidental with respect to what the military is doing today? I won't go into it, but that was given to him, that power is given to him by the Supreme Court. There's a presumption of immunity for any official acts he engages in. And so Sonia Sotomayor, the justice who ends up writing endless dissents, ever so articulate and wonderful in them, but always dissents, writes, look, he can now use the military to go out and assassinate a political opponent, and there's nothing to be done about it. And the truth is, that's exactly what it says. And what did the majority say about that? Oh, poo-poo, things like that don't happen. Really, they just said that's too extreme. Now, that's 4 cases, in my opinion, that show you the Supreme Court set the stage for the attack on democracy, and it led that attack. It did not act passively. It went after it and led the way. That's John Roberts and 5 of his colleagues, 6 politicians in black robes. They are politicians. They were chosen because they are politicians, because each was very active in their party, and the party knew if I put them there, they will carry out the party platform. So what do we have now in the present? I'm going to be very brief about this. We could talk about a long time. The dual state, if we could go to the next slide, Peter. What we have, Ernst Fraenkel was a German Jewish lawyer born in 1898, fought in World War I, became a labor lawyer in Berlin, and he was allowed from 1934 to 38, although the Nazis ruled, he was allowed to continue to practice law because he had fought in World War I. So he actually practiced law, and what he said was during that period before he had to flee, ended up at the University of Chicago, wrote a book called The Dual State. He said what happened to the Nazis was you had the normative state where everything was normal. If you're white, Aryan, German, you could enforce contracts, you could have wills, criminal law would work, you know, if you had to defend yourself, any kind of normal laws, you had normal law. But there's this thin line, and if you pass through the line, you went into what was called the prerogative state, where the state can do anything it wants to you because it's the state. And the state says, you know, early on it was to communists, it was to trade union leaders, it was to various Polish leaders, were basically paraded into Dachau, into concentration camps. Before they ever started doing heavy-duty genocide with respect to Jews, people could end up going to Dachau, to a concentration camp, simply because the state said that's where they're going to go. That's what happened with the law. Now, is it too extreme for me to say that's what's going on here in the U.S.? Well, I think we live in the dual state because the Supreme Court has not even said on their shadow docket, you know that Tom Homan, the $50,000 in the brown bag man, head of the DHS, says we have the right to stop people, it happened in LA, who have brown skin, look like they may be Hispanic, have a Spanish accent. Based on what they look like and the fact that they're hanging around in certain neighborhoods, we have the right to stop them and do the whole number on them with guys who wear masks, camouflage, heavy-duty weapons. We can do that simply because they have brown skin and they sound like they may speak Spanish and they're in certain neighborhoods. Now that begins to sound very much like people who have no rights at all, and the Supreme Court has officially said they have no rights. We have the normative state for most of us in this room. We have already this dual prerogative state where ICE agents and DHS can do whatever they want to people because of the way they look and the way they speak. I think that's the dual state. Now, there's what's happening in the present. I'm not going to talk about affirmative action ending, public funding of religious schools, dismantling the federal government, impounding congressional, taking bribes. I mean, all that's going on, but my focus today is to say to you, even though the Supreme Court did all of that, what the Supreme Court has really done is led the, if you will, the fight to undermine American democracy. What lies ahead in the future? Good guy told you it was going to be an indigestively awful talk, and I apologize for that, you know, but it is what it is. Predictions are always folly. They're always wrong. I'm really bad at making predictions, okay? Every presidential election, I make the wrong prediction. But let me suggest anyway, it's folly, but Louisiana, there was an argument, oral argument yesterday before the Supreme Court. Louisiana is going to be allowed to ignore Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. We expect they're just going to make the whole Voting Rights Act unconstitutional as a result of listening to that oral argument. Because what they're going to say is, Louisiana, 40% of your people are black, so you have 6 congressional districts, so 2 of them should be black. So there's some kind of equity here. People have equal opportunity to have their voices heard in Congress. And what the court said was, wait a minute, you're drawing those districts in Louisiana based on race. You're saying 2 out of 6 should be black because 1/3 of the people are black, or 40% of them are black. And the court said, that's discrimination based on race, you can't do that. So what's going to happen? There are approximately 19 districts across the South in America that have been drawn in the past so that there's some kind of equity between basically Democratic and Republican voters in the South. Those are probably going to disappear really rapidly. The Solicitor General of the U.S., arguing for the President, said, let's do this decision really quickly so it can impact on the 2026 elections. We can redraw those 19 districts. So that's where we stand, folks. That's the Supreme Court. I have 1 minute. Perfect. We're right on it. What's to be done? Think globally, act locally. What do I mean by that? Service above self. Very important, very critical to maintaining our democracy. You have to vote, you have to get out the vote, you do donations to those groups you think are helping with that. And remember, support district court judges, federal district court judges. 90% of the time they're saying that the Trump administration is illegal, is unconstitutional in what they're doing. They get to the Supreme Court and Trump wins 90% of the time. So what I put here last to close with, people seem to learn a lot from podcasts opposed to reading, so I've given you a list of some podcasts you may want to listen to. They'll keep you in tune with just how awful it is. I close by saying my apologies. I hate talking about the topic, but I think we have to know about it so we can act, maintain the vote, protect democracy in every way we can, and not expect the court to do the work for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. Bill, I think we have time for some questions. Bill, I think we have time for some questions, and I appreciate you letting us know how influential the Supreme Court has been to U.S. policy. Bill, did you want to?
Bill has a bell ringer. Hit it, Bill.
Yeah, I have more of a comment than a question, and I appreciate what you said and support it 100%. I've been a court observer at the Immigration Court in San Francisco for the last several months, and Trump is not only being led by the Supreme Court, he's gutting the Immigration Court. He's fired the chief judge in San Francisco for granting too much asylum, and he's fired 6 other judges. I wonder if you could comment on that.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about what they're doing to the immigration system. Ann and I were classmates, and Sam Miller also is here today, classmates with a guy named Ira Kurzban. Ira now is the leading immigration lawyer in America. He's in Miami. So he and I talk very regularly about what's going on. They've replaced more than 80% of the immigration administrative law judges throughout the country. They replace judges based on whether they can depend on that judge to deport everybody. What are those judges now doing? When someone shows up for a legitimate hearing about whether they should have asylum because they may be tortured if they go back to where they were, what happens is the judge instantly dismisses the asylum claim so that the ICE agents outside the court can take the person away. That's what the immigration system amounts to now. The way Ira sees things, he said, look, mass deportations are going to happen at a furious level. They want to do 1 million people a year. And from his point of view, the only way you stop mass deportation is by mass demonstration. Thanks.
Mac, you have a question?
First, thank you very much for your presentation and your candid comments. My question is one to lean more into your folly predictions. And now that we are seeing the proverbial, excuse my French, shit hit the fan, what do you think we can do? And not lawyer speak, be direct, if you don't mind. Thank you.
What do you think, what should be done, is your real question? Yes, sir. That was the slide that I went through very rapidly so the sergeant at arms didn't yank me off because I was down on my last minute. But first of all, I think it is critically important to do what Rotary does. I'm not really familiar with Rotary. It's just not one of the groups that I had been involved with. But I'm truly impressed by the fact that service above self is so key, and listening today to all the programs that people are engaged in. Let me give you by way of example. My wife, who is a journalist, Ann referred to, she's the star of the show. She just spent the last 15 years as a staff writer for National Geographic going all over the world. She's now kind of calming down, and she's immediately involved with the Committee of Concerned Medical Professionals here in Oakland. What does she do? She's fluent in Spanish. She helps people who speak no English connect with doctors, dentists, chiropractors who can help them. To me, that's the kind of work. You think globally about the big issues, but you act locally. In addition, you've got to vote, okay? Right.
I think we have time for one more question. Andrew?
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I could go on for hours what we should do.
Yeah, I love the presentation. I am the proud father of a happily married gay woman. She's been married for 13 years. Does this court overturn Obergefell?
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing the question clearly. I just didn't hear it.
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. So I
I
am the proud father of a gay woman who's been happily married for 13 years. Does this court overturn Obergefell?
Oh, okay, you want to know if the court is going to go after gay marriage or same-sex marriage. Certainly Clarence Thomas wants to do it, certainly Sam Alito wants to do it. We know there's 2 solid votes for that. Whether Obergefell, the decision will be overturned, there will be a constant attack at it. What ultimately happens to that, I don't know. I mean, the first thing they're trying to do, obviously, is to stop all abortion. And we could talk about that, but there are ways they're going to just try to make it illegal across the country. Once they take away that right, the next one they're going after is called Griswold, to take away your right to have contraceptives. Once they've accomplished that, they may then go after same-sex marriage. Will they succeed? It depends on whether the battle is well joined, right? Whether we actually take to the streets, whether we vote, to answer your question, whether we get other people out to vote, whether we can keep elections honest. I think that's probably enough of that for one day, right? Okay, thank you very much.
Bill? To thank you for your presentation today, we've made a donation to end polio, Polio Plus. So please know you're helping eradicate polio from the world. It's Rotary's signature project. In over 3+ decades, we've reduced reported polio cases 99.9%, and we will eradicate polio because we are this close. Thank you. And here's a Rotary 4-way test coin. The 4-way test is our Bible, our guide to how to live business and personal life. Thank you again for being here today. Thank you. I don't know if anybody wanted to ring the bell. Do we see any bell ringers out there? Bob?
Bob does. Hold on, I'm gonna bring a mic to you. I want to bring a mic to you, Bob. Hold on, everybody. The great Bob, everybody.
Yeah, I said I'd like to ring the bell twice for Alex Polson. Once for all of the stuff he does to help our club run more efficiently and effectively. And second time for all the help he's given me, always there. Thanks, Alex.
Bob Barth rings the bell twice for Alex Polson. Will Hobbs rings the bell for Bill Sokol, our speaker.
Daniel.
Just so you know, a bell ringer is a generous $100 donation to our Oakland Rotary Endowment, which we use to fund our service projects.
My mother-in-law want to ring the bell for her father, who is a Rotarian.
Daniel Chang rings the bell for?
The mother
Thank you very much.
was ringing for the father, who was a Rotarian in China. She brought cash, by the way.
Ken?
Mr. President, I'd like to ring the bell again for Alex Polson, a great Rotarian.
King Richardson's rings the bell for Alex Polson. I'm not going to be outdone. I ring the bell for my good friend Alex Polson. So, almost forgot. I want to bring back up Joe Parrott. Joe, can you tell us who our speaker is going to be next week? I'm guessing it'll have some environmental theme.
Thank you, Coach. Okay, everybody, you're going to want to be here for next week's, just as important as today's was. Our speaker is on an environmental topic. It is Tammy Mulcahy, and she is a Rotarian from Los Altos Rotary Club. And for those of you who remember ESRAG, which is the Rotary Action Group for the Environment, she's in charge of the plastics for the committee for that. For ESRAG. But the most important thing is that she's going to be talking about plastics, which do affect your life, and it is one of those things that you can actually make a difference in. And so you'll hear more about it next week. Please make sure you can make it. Thanks.
So see you next week to learn what's happening with recycling about plastics. She'll give you the inside story. Please come, and you can take a opportunity to guess how much this pumpkin weighs and win the pumpkin and a four-way test coin. I want to leave you with, through Rotary, world peace will come someday, and we will end polio too. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.